So here we are with the 80s tribute band Gazpacho, and as we start, we're all sitting on the couch. I'd like you to introduce yourselves, if you would, to the camera, please, and maybe tell us the instruments you play, and maybe give us a little bit of your musical background.
Chris Anderson, lead vocals, drums. Music background, primarily grew up a lot of 80s metal. Played drums all through that time period in the mid-90s. That's pretty much it.
Excellent.
Ralph Napolitano, bass, backing vocals, a little bit of lead vocals. Just been playing in bands my whole life. Several different instruments. Don't grab my hat, please.
They can't see you.
I don't care. Keys, guitar, bass. Fun.
Excellent.
Renee Napolitano, bass and vocals, sort of. And musical background, I started on upright string bass when I was a kid, and then went to bass guitar, and married this handsome fellow back in 1985 and played in an original band with him for a while, and then ended up with Gazpacho.
I'm Gary Layton, play guitar. Been playing guitar for way too long. I still love it. That's all.
Jason Keyser, keyboards. Started with classical piano at age 9 and studied some jazz and did a music minor in college, and here I am today.
And the first thing I'd like to mention is I heard the warm-up, and you're all incredibly talented musicians, and just going through the list of instruments you're playing, and there's a lot of talent here. I mean, you're multi-instrumentalist. It's not that you just got one gig. So it's a fantastic thing. So Gazpacho, I looked that up, and it's actually a tomato-based soup with vegetables in it. So I'm assuming you didn't name yourselves after the soup. So how did you come by the name Gazpacho?
The name actually was really all by accident. Gary and I and Jason were all in an original band, signed a record deal back in '96, released an album on Metal Blade Records, and while the label was setting the album up, there's time to do there's nothing to do. So Gary said, why don't we go out and play acoustic and play some covers down at Kelly's Row? They have an open mic thing. He's like, we need a name. So Gazpacho was the name of a song by Marillion. So we said, okay, let's just call it Gazpacho.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic. I'm actually, I love Marillion in the 80s. I didn't know that Gazpacho was. I love the song Kaylee. Do you play? Do you know the song Kaylee?
Yes, we do.
And Lavender.
Lavender,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
So the thing that struck me is we go off the beaten track here. You said there's a metal-based kind of background, and
The metal bass is really kind of Gary and I. We're really the metal side of the spectrum,
right.
And Jay with keys too.
Do you find a way to to bring that into your show? I mean, the hair bands, of course. When people think of the '80s, they think of those great Poison and Bon Jovi.
Actually, I think the way that we bring it into the band is more in the synthesizer, new wave, poppier kind of songs. We bring a little bit of that metal into those songs and rock them up a little bit,
right,
and make them. That kind of puts our little signature on it.
Well, I was going to ask you about that because the '80s is a broad church. I
Yes,
mean,
it
you've got
is.
those synthesizer bands, or there's groups like Yaz. You've got the three pieces like the Police. So you've got metal. Do you? How do you decide what you're going to cover when there's so much music from that particular decade?
Well, we try to. There's so many '80s bands out there that are doing just it seems trying to capture just the hair metal side of it. I've never actually even seen or heard of any bands sort of doing some of the other side of the '80s. And whenever you see an '80s tribute band on YouTube or whatever, it's always, it's a hair band. They're really trying to do that. So we decided when we started doing this, let's try to cover as much of the decade as we could. To do the new wave, to do some of the electronica, to do and the hair metal too. But it's basically the crowd sort of dictates what we do. We'll try it, and if it works, we'll keep it. If it doesn't, we ditch it.
That's great.
It's based on the girls.
It's based on the girls.
Correct. If they like it, and if they dance to it, they
For
think
instance,
it's great.
Chris, it took me 3 years to get him to sing Love Shack.
Oh.
And once he did, everybody loved it, and we kept it.
And now it's one of our huge.
Right.
Sure, simply because you didn't like the B-52s, or because you thought that wasn't your type
Wasn't
of
his
music.
style.
Right.
Right.
but it's come to be your style because the reaction that you get, from the
Sure,
crowd,
sure.
and you pick on that. Now, obviously, you're a very tight band. Do you, do you improvise on the night? Do you like throw in stuff and just like extended solos?
Once in a while, it's a lot of the stuff, and we wanted to mention this is Chris is our drummer, and when this band originally started, at least when I got in, and Renee and I both got in, which was about 8 years ago, he was behind the drums and singing and playing, and that worked great, and he did it really well and has a lot of talent. She won't leave me alone. You can't get her hands off.
It's rock and roll.
It's incredible. It's so what we did was decide that if we're going to do all 80s, and you really need somebody out front.
Yes.
There's got to be a front man. It can't be all from behind the drums. It just doesn't work. I mean, I know that in the past has worked for certain bands and stuff. There have been bands out there that do it, but with us, we really wanted Chris out front because he's got a fantastic voice and he's a good showman. So let's get him out front. And we didn't really want to add a drummer because we do use this for money, and we didn't want to pay another person, so we're cheap. But besides that, we get along famously. This band gets along fantastic. We have more fun when we're hanging out than even when we're playing. I mean, it's even when we're not playing, we get together and hang out. So it's really a unique situation. That doesn't often happen. So we didn't want to add another personality to the mix. So I'm taking a long road around here. The drums, when he's up front singing, it's him playing drums, but it's pre-recorded into the Mac.
Okay.
So when that's happening, we can't really take any liberties. We have to stick to what we've recorded.
Yeah.
But when I'm singing or Renee is singing and he's playing, then we can kind of stretch out a little bit. So in answer to your question, we do some of the time when he's playing the drums. When he's not and it's recorded, we pretty much stick to the track.
Now, Chris has got a great frontman look. I mean,
Absolutely.
I can't think of many bands that had a drummer singer. The Eagles, maybe, but do you think of anyone else?
Sure. Phil Collins, perhaps a little.
But each of those
you know.
bands had that guy come out front eventually.
Right. Eventually, that guy came out front. So
eventually,
really,
on top of that too, there was limitations on what we could really play to a point where it was like I could sing that, but if I play it at the same time, you might find me on the floor by the end of the song because there's only so much oxygen to play a 4-minute song, singing Journey or something.
Exactly, you're all crucial members of the band, but the synthesizer or the keyboards, obviously, very very important. Can you do a lot of stuff on the keyboards? Maybe bring in like a sax sound or a different sound that is possibly not in the band.
I certainly try to maintain a faithfulness to the original recording and match my sound to fit that and I look at the song as what parts are important, what parts that people are going to want to hear.
Right.
Base what I learn off of that, and I got 2 hands and 10 fingers, so do as much as I can with what I got.
Well, I mean, you are talented musicians and you can stretch out. I mean, that I was aware of just in the sound check. So how faithful? Because obviously when people come and see your shows, they want to hear the songs they remember from MTV days and from the radio.
Sure.
But I bet when you're jamming, I bet you probably might do them in different ways. I mean, how does that work out?
I think it depends on the song. I mean, from Jay and I's perspective, I think from the drums and the keyboards, depending on the song, we really try to program the samples and the sounds really true to the original song.
Right.
Depending on the song, something like "Take on Me" by Aha or something like that.
Do you play that?
Yeah.
We do.
Great song.
So a song like that, we're trying to make the drums sound like the recording. We're trying to make the keys sound like the recording, and then maybe some of the other instrumentation, we're maybe making our own. But
there's certain sounds that people are expecting to hear. And you want to match. I mean, if you're playing jump and it's not the right sound,
to every song that you kind of have to have, and then you can sort of, put your own element into it.
Yeah, definitely.
Besides that, but there are certain things you just need to have, in the songs, and we try to give them that, and then kind of have fun with them at the same time.
I think you're tapping into something that's really of the moment, funnily enough, although, you'd think it's retro, doing 80s music.
I know.
I think we're all of an age. We can say that when we remember the 80s.
8 years ago when these guys said, let's do all 80s, I said, well, that'll be fun for a couple of years. And then that'll be the end, because it's going to come and go.
It's a fad,
It just keeps going. I mean, we just keep playing, and the audience just keeps changing, and more people keep coming to hear us, and we're really fortunate, and it's just really having a great time with it.
It's hugely popular. I mean, our high school teacher, when we have Spirit Week, we have an 80s day. You know, it's
Right.
people love
Sure,
to dress up. You know, they
sure.
remember the videos. They
Yeah.
just get a great vibe. They remember the songs.
Awesome.
So it's nostalgia for us. You know, with the hairstyles and all the rest of it. But what are the songs you're very proud of as a band that you play that you think you just nail it? And you know, we could open that. And I know we've got female songs as well.
Right,
And
right.
obviously, we should say, I don't know if you mentioned it, yeah, husband and wife, not brother and
Yes.
sister. So
That's
the
correct.
familiarity is perfectly
Or
legal.
father and daughter.
A mother and son. You know?
It's a family band. Right.
I think for me,
That's
I'm most
really
proud
cool.
of stuff that we play that I know other bands may not attempt to play as an 80s band, or
Have you
that
got some
we're able
examples of
to,
that?
or
Yeah.
songs that we're able to go, this is a stretch, but let's try it.
Good,
Let's
yeah.
see if we can pull it off. So a song like Under Pressure,
Great
you know,
song.
like
My favorite song of all time.
not a,
Great
you know,
song, yeah.
you might not see a
5
lot of
years
80s
it took 'em.
bands play
They
it,
did it.
Yeah.
you know.
And-
Things like that, you know, taking a risk and trying to stretch out and
The
show our
vocals are big too.
musicianship,
Like
you know.
Built This
Yeah.
City, like having the depth of all the vocals
Right.
is big. Like all the Journey stuff.
The three of us sing, so it's nice. We can do some of the 3-part harmony
Yeah.
and things like that.
And it's exciting that you've got I was going to say, you know, you've got those three voices, so you
Right.
can you
Right.
can
So
really
you can
know,
do
It's
more
good.
and
You can do a little more.
And
even
when I
like-
think of female, so I wanted to bring you into it as well, Renee. When I think of female singers from the '80s, I think of obviously Grace Slick with
Yeah.
Jefferson Starship. I think of Joan Jett certainly,
Yeah.
and Kate Bush. I'm from England, but who
Mm-hmm.
are some of the singers that you'd like to cover that you do?
yeah,
sing?
we do Joan Jett and we do Built This City. We
Right.
do again, it's all across
Blondie,
99 Red Balloons and everything.
That's
you
nice.
know, it's
That's
all.
nice. Luftballons. I remember that.
I should start singing all my songs in a foreign language because then if I mess up, nobody will know.
That's true.
True.
there
Right.
you go.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that'd
That
be
would
good.
work. That would work.
No, I'm more like I enjoy more the Joan Jett variety, you know, rather than the Madonna kind of stuff. But we do that
Okay,
too. We do
yeah.
we do everything, even if it's not.
Do you do a Madonna
Uh-huh.
song?
We do Material Girl. We're gonna do it tonight for you.
Oh, for me. Okay, good. I like
Ah,
to.
you're
Because
gonna
I am a
hear it.
material girl. That's great. And I've noticed, I mean, obviously, you know, you guys are dressed up, you look like, you know, you're ready to go, but you also have a visual backdrop. Is that, again, an homage to the 80s? Because obviously it was MTV and it was a video age, and because people, you think, associate the song so much with a visual, is that why you do that?
I
Yes,
think
sir.
I think for me, I think it's part of like the whole idea with the video is to bring the whole thing in. Of
It's like a show.
we're trying to make
It
even
is.
some of the venues we play, maybe 100, 200 seat places.
Really?
We're trying to make a small bar, Madison Square Garden. We're trying to make a rock show in a small bar. So
Right.
tying in the video and the lights and the stage clothes and the whole thing,
Right.
it brings people back to when bands used to put on a show and not get up on stage in jeans and a t-shirt and be
Right.
It's
depressed
what's
for an
helped us
hour and a
become
half.
successful, I think, is that we do put the effort in to do that. To do
Yes,
the
and who
clothing
started the whole dress up thing?
Interesting.
I know.
Never seen.
No.
One of the big
That
things
was
about
me.
the '80s was the whole entertainment.
Without a
Right.
doubt.
Right.
You know, and
Larger than life.
Larger than life.
You know, that's what we're trying to do.
I think it's exciting, and I think it's great that you do that because I think at the time, you know, people, you know, it was like post 60s and 70s, you know, a lot of those bands were criticized because they were so visual. But now I think people get very nostalgic for that because not only are they great bands, but they were visuals.
It's a
And people
show.
now don't make the effort. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a show, and I think that's
Right.
all part of the
It's
package.
important.
And now
So-
they wear spandex pants and they take my eyeliner.
the boys take your island.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about our demographic that comes to see us play is you've got 20 somethings that have
Yep.
never experienced any of
Right.
this decade.
Right.
So it's all new to them, and they've never seen bands that, you know, dress up and, you know, that type of thing. And then you've got the 30, 40-year-old somethings who've got families and kids and jobs,
Absolutely.
and they get to get out on the weekend and come see us play, and it's like a trip down memory lane for them.
It sure
And it's like,
is.
oh, I haven't heard this song in 20 years. And so it's this cool, like, new and old and everything in
Yeah.
between.
It's
And-
all age groups.
Yeah,
And so many of
it
these
is.
bands can't be around anymore. You mentioned Under Pressure, a great song. Obviously, we're not going
Right.
to see Freddie Mercury perform that
Right,
anymore. So,
right.
you know, it's wonderful to get out and see a local band. Now, you
Yeah.
cover the seacoast. Are there any memorable, you know, affection of great gigs you played, or a certain venue that you've got a good memory of?
The Rochester Opera House.
That was recent, yeah.
Yeah,
That
because that's a
that
sizable venue.
It was a good show because it was just a beautiful, large stage and great lighting, and it was just.
What was our first time there?
It's very rare that you get an opportunity to be on such a beautiful stage. We've done that in
Casino,
the casino, the
ballroom.
Hampton
Casino,
Casino in Hampton. We do that for the Special Olympics. That's coming up for their Penguin Plunge Day. So,
Yeah.
We played hallways and weddings where
Right.
we're
Tell
in a
us
room,
about weddings.
you know,
Yeah.
about,
So
about this size, and
Weddings
it
are fun.
comes down to the crowd. If
it
the
does.
crowd's
It
into
does come
Right.
down to the crowd.
You know,
The wedding thing is really good. We have done several, and we're booked for quite a few this spring and summer. And it's really neat because what we do is we work with a DJ who we're very close with, and we bring him along, and he does the introductions of the bridal
Traditional
party,
stuff.
all the traditional things, the traditional dances, and all of that you need to do at weddings. And then once
Right.
they're finished with that, and once everyone's done eating and they've had a few drinks, obviously, then we come out and do our show just like you see now, and
Nothing
it's
is
awesome.
different.
Yeah,
Right.
nothing's
do what we
different.
do.
It's,
We do
yeah,
it.
No more
that's
black
what
and
we
tan.
tell
And
people.
they've been some of the greatest weddings ever, I think. I mean, people
Yeah.
just absolutely love it.
Yeah, you're gonna get the
It
lights,
works
you're
great.
gonna get the video, you're
Yeah,
gonna get the
everything.
smoke, you're gonna get the stage show
Everything, yeah.
at a wedding.
But at the same time,
Sure,
we
yeah.
have the DJ start off. He's in the tux, does the thing, daddy-daughter dance, the garter belt, the whole bit, and then we come out and rock it, and it's great.
I think it'd be a fantastic
great.
band for a wedding. I mean, it'd
It's
be
fun.
just a
It's
great,
awesome.
great
It's-
vibe, great atmosphere.
And the people that do book us
Reasonably
are
priced.
looking for, they're looking to have a party. They're looking for have a celebration to
Right.
celebrate their day.
Yeah.
And all the weddings that we've done over the last couple of years, they just seem to. It seems like every wedding we play, we say that's the best wedding we've ever played. Then we
Right,
play
right,
another wedding,
right,
we go,
right.
that's the best
That's
one.
right.
Gazpacho was your sex life.
Well, there's a logo.
It's
Right
true.
there.
That's right.
It's true.
There you go.
We've been told.
You're looking for a sponsor, so
There's a lot of
See, I was-
children that have been conceived after Gazpacho Joe.
Little bit of captain.
Right here.
That's true.
Yeah, and they're all in your
That's,
house.
no, not just my house. Not just my house.
Well, talking of conceiving at a gig, do you play? I mean, you're very up tempo. You're a good time band. Do you
Yeah.
play ballads? I mean,
Yeah,
A
there's some,
couple.
We do a couple, but we
Sister Christian.
the crowd doesn't
Oh,
typically
awesome.
want that.
Home Sweet Home.
We do.
We
we
tried
do.
True
quite a
Colours.
few, and
They get mad at
We can
us.
pull
Do
them
they
out.
really?
We
They
can do them, but they don't want to hear that. They
Depends on
want
the
to
yeah, it
rock.
depends
Private
on
gigs,
certain
maybe.
shows they work great.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
shows they don't.
Right.
It's the type of thing where some nights I'll make the set list and put one in, and judging by the way the crowd is, I'll look
Yeah.
over at Jay and go, no.
Right.
Or
Right.
if it's a private thing and there's a lot of couples
Missing
out,
you.
Right.
You do that a
You know?
lot.
Yeah,
That goes
that's-
over.
Yeah.
so
Right.
some nights it's like the only time certain people will dance because guys generally don't dance. So
Right.
the wives will say, okay, it's a slow song, honey, you got to dance with me now.
oh, so
So,
the
you know,
slow songs get the guys up, do they?
It depends, it depends on the
Yeah.
the gig and the venue and what the function is. So
Yeah.
we gauge that. We're starting, we kind of know when to put them in.
Well, just go down the line and tell us maybe what your favourite song from the '80s was, or a favourite song from the show that you just love, you never get tired of, that you can play every night. We'll see if they're different or the same. So we'll start off here.
Probably Separate Ways Journey.
That's a great
It's,
song.
it always, it's hard to not. There's nights where I've not put it in the set list and we still play it.
Separate
Because
Ways. Journey.
people get angry
Yeah.
if we don't play it.
Yeah.
I saw a couple of years ago. Saw Journey with Def Leppard over in Manchester, and that was a great night. That was a great. Do you play some Leopard as well?
We do.
Yeah.
We do. Well,
Pour
pour
some
some
sugar
sugar
on
on it.
Ooh, perfect,
that one.
perfect.
That's the second set, though. You have to stay late.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
I've
you
passed
do.
my bedtime. I don't know, but I'm going to stay for the Australian Open
Yeah.
tennis tomorrow. So, Ralph, what song do you love?
Lately, I've been liking "Missing You," but I tend to go for the newer songs. Are always my favorite for a while until they become old, and then the new songs become
Right.
my favorites.
Now, this is "Missing You" by John Waite.
By John
Yes.
Waite, that's
It's
correct.
a piece of '80s trivia. There were 3 "Missing You" songs in the chart at the same time. Different songs.
Ooh.
"Missing You"
Really?
John Waite, "Missing You" Dan Fogelberg, and "Missing You" I think Diana Ross.
Wow.
They were all in the chart at the same time. I think.
That's cool.
This is
Were
deep.
they all in the 80s?
This is same
same
week, same
So
month.
we need
Wow.
to do like a mashup.
Wow.
You do a medley of "Missing You."
Yes.
Yeah, medley of this.
Put
That
them
would
all-
be a good idea.
Put them all in there. So, rock chick song. What's your favorite? Rock chick?
I love rock and roll and Under Pressure. I do.
Ah,
I can
I love
play
rock and
those
roll.
every night,
You saying
and-
Freddie Mercury's a girl? Is that what you're saying?
No, I play bass on it and
Queen.
just sing backups. But that's my
Bum, 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 bum,
that's
bum.
my
And
all-time
that's your
favorite song ever, and they finally
Wow.
agreed to do it, and I love it.
I'm
But
so glad.
Singing, I love rock and roll.
Well, I'm grateful that Vanilla Ice wrote that song, so you could do it. Which is
Right.
awesome. So, what about you guys? A song that you love, never get tired of?
I'm gonna have to agree with Chris and go in separate ways.
Ah.
Really?
Yeah, it's a cool song. It always goes over well. I like doing the guitar solo.
What about My Sharona?
It's probably the
What about,
closest-
like, some
My
other
Sharona.
kind
Yeah.
of guitar song.
I think Separate Ways is probably the closest to our
Yeah.
like our bread and butter.
Really,
far
that's the
as
stuff you
surprised.
really
a little
got.
bit of the metal in there, the
Yeah.
melodic vocal, and
Did you think Journey were the best of those, those kind of, rock bands of like, the early 80s? Like, so Foreigner, there was Journey, there was Leopard. You think Journey was the best of the bunch back then?
Best that we do.
best that we do. I
Okay.
mean, of that style of like melodic rock or metal, like my favorite band in that type of genre would be like Queensryche.
Oh,
so
wow.
so
Sure.
Queensryche is kind of Journey, probably it's all kind of ties in. It's the higher vocal and big orchestration, instrumentation.
Great stuff. I was just listening to Ace of Spades by Motorhead on the way in.
Oh,
There's a good English
nice.
heavy band.
Yes.
And got the skinny tie, so we got the, so we got the new
He's
wave
the
look here.
fancy guy.
Yeah,
in the
the
band.
new wave look.
New wave look, yeah. It's tough. I mean, I really like the Journey tunes separate ways. I think ultimately for me, it's a song that has something going on keyboard wise
Joe.
that no, not even necessarily. I like more probably like
Howard Jones?
No, we don't do any Howard Jones, but I do like. I think like Billie Jean. That's probably
Ah,
a
you do
favorite.
Billie Jean.
Relax, sunglasses at night. Something that maybe presented some challenges to me
Yes.
with the keyboard setting up, the programming, and still fun to play. So I think those are probably like the
You're kind of the sort of British new wave guy because the Duran Duran and the keyboard stuff was coming through, then Howard Jones.
Right.
And,
Yeah, I think that was more where I was looking at in the 80s.
Yeah.
Those were the
I mean,
bands
I still love all that stuff.
Yeah.
Just talking has made me incredibly nostalgic, but it's great that you're keeping the flame alive. I was going to open it up. Is there anything that you'd just like to say, to the camera that we haven't covered about the band, or any, funny stories, or anything at all? But because in the future, you mentioned Journey, for instance. Could you see yourself like branching off and being a Journey cover band for a while? If that's what people wanted.
We actually did a Bon Jovi tribute. There was a special show that we did where we just did a whole set of Bon Jovi songs, and that was kind of fun.
How did that go down?
It went well. It was
Good.
with a bunch of several other bands that were also doing tributes. In fact, Renee and I did a Joan Jett tribute thing for a few times. So
Sure.
And
so
Jason as well, honey.
Jason too. That's right. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Jason
I'm
was an
sorry.
honorary Blackheart.
Sorry.
It was for about a year. I don't think,
Sorry.
but it's not nearly as entertaining. I mean, the thing that makes it great is we can do
Right.
Everything.
Right.
and when you narrow it down to one band, you lose so many people.
Yeah.
I just like
It's
playing
just
with these people, and whatever path it takes. I mean, if we have to, if 2 years from now we're a '90s band, okay,
Heck
Right.
no, don't
You
say
know,
that.
you do,
I'm not
I'll
doing
be
it.
on the
I
that's
won't do
fine.
it.
Whatever,
I'm quitting again.
You do have great chemistry. I noticed you've got a Let It Be poster behind you, and I should say that Renee's no
Yes.
Yoko because I could see that.
Oh, you have no idea.
you
I quit every month, and they're like, please, please.
You're having a blast. I could see you having a blast. When you were like getting ready.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really what it is.
Sure.
I think Gazpacho in a nutshell is like a good time.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And people come up to me all the time, people that I don't even know, just say, "We saw you here. You guys look like you have so much fun
Right.
on stage." And that's what it's all about. We
And
love
that's
playing together. It's a
Exactly.
fun time. It's fun music.
Yep.
We
And
make fun of each other. We pick on each
it's
other. I mean,
it's a
just
party.
great.
It's
That's true.
it's nostalgia. It's reliving the
And
past.
honestly,
it's
They're all extremely
it's great.
talented, and I can like barely sing and play, but I have a great time, and people know it, and that's what they love.
yeah.
Honestly, like
if you're having
if
a
you're
good
not
time,
a
the people are
musician,
having a good
if you're
time.
not a musician, you don't know how talented they are.
Right.
Really, you just know the songs.
There's a lot of
So
talent here, and
most people are just there to have a good time and the songs they love, and
I think
it's a party.
that's almost a great way to wrap it. I originally, I said that gazpacho, if you look in the dictionary, is a tomato soup with vegetables. But I think gazpacho is a good time band. You're guaranteed to have a fun time, whether it's coming
This
to
is
a
true.
big venue, small venue, or
Sure.
a wedding.
Anything.
This is the group that can do it all. So
we try. We certainly try and hope to do it for a long, long time.
get out. If you're on the seacoast, get out there and watch gazpacho.
I think that's a charming.
great idea.
That's a great
Charming.
idea. Charming.
Charming.
Cheerio.
Charming.
Do it.
This is for
Press.
DVD extras part.
Here.
That's right. Special.
So,
Yeah.
we'll do a commentary on.
We label our cups because we like to save the environment, so we label
That's
our
right.
cups and reuse them.
Oh.
Here's
All right.
gazpacho.
To rock and roll.
Good show.
To
Be
rock
safe
and
out there,
roll.
kids.
It's all good.
Cheers.
See you at the chorus.